Alright, so in case you've been living under a rock now, before I even get started, let me excuse myself. Like, subscribe, share with everybody you know, people, and make sure you share that. I could care less if y'all like, but do me a favor, share. Now, back to what I was saying. In case you've been living under a rock, this fight has been canceled. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. It is no longer happening now. I am not a blog site, and I'm not going to get into the particulars on why this case may happen, but there is a civil suit that is out here. But I just want to bring some clarity to the situation. This may not be only due to a civil suit. Now, I'm not going to be the one to say somebody's innocent, somebody's guilty. That's not for me to call, right? But I do feel like everyone deserves their fair share and fair day in court, regardless of what their past behaviors or false behaviors may have been and may not have been. Everybody deserves their day in court, and I'm not here to pass judgment on anybody. Now, with that being said, just to bring this to some people's case, I have to bring something up. Although we do have, you know, the civil suit that's been going on with Gervonta Davis, and we don't know how that may turn out, and we haven't seen video evidence, but Jake Paul has came out and said that he has video evidence of what has happened. I want you guys to pause this video and take a second to read this right here. It could be something that provides some clarity on why this event may not happen. Like I said, this video is really not about what's going on, but I want you to take a video. I said a video, excuse me. I want you to take a quick read. If you want to, you could do a little pause, read through this, and this may provide some clarity on why this event is not happening. It's very detailed, and it can give you some insights on how boxing works and the business of booking venues and packing venues out. Just a quick read. Take a look. Okay, so now that we've taken our lawyer hats off, we can really talk about what this video is about. Gervonta Davis and my thoughts about him, right? Where does Tank go from here? Because we really don't know what to really say when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, if you are a boxing fan and you're a boxing fan that's knowledgeable and you're not really a casual and you love the game of boxing, you know that the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight was most likely a cash out, right? Now, Gervonta's been on record saying, matter of fact, let me find the photo. Not this, not this picture, not this picture right here. This one was, yo, Tank, what was you doing, my boy? Like, look at how he's looking at him, looking extra sassy. Not this. I'm talking about this interview right here with a media personality by the name of Mr. J Hill. He actually did a really good job with this interview. I always give him his props when it comes to this interview. I've never really watched any of his other work, but obviously because Tank was involved, and you know I cover boxing, so I did take the time out to watch this interview. But one thing that he really did was strip Tank down, pause, to in the most appropriate way to get Tank to open up. And it's really difficult to get a guy like Gervonta to open up, to talk and to speak about his insights when it comes to his career, where he sees himself, and where he was at mentally. So I give him all his props. But in this interview, as I digress, Tank said something that was very telling to me. He talked about how he didn't want to box for much longer, and he said this plenty of times. But Tank, in this interview, he made it known that he wanted to be quote unquote softer. He wanted to be someone who could be a better example for his daughters. And when you're a fighter and you're an active fighter and you're a fighter that wants to pursue championships and unifications and big pay-per-views, and your mindset is really not on the the side, for lack of a better word, the softer side of life, the pleasures of life. Um, what It's more career driven, right? I mean, think about it. If you're a young man, young woman, and your career is more your main focus, you're really thinking about better ways to advance yourself. Whether that be going to school, growing your business. Um, in Tank's case, it should be getting the biggest fights possible. Um, Things like that. And he has a promotional company, growing his promotional company, so signing fighters, uh, you know, it should be things like that. But when he was talking, it really seemed like Tank was checked out of the game. So back to Gervonta being a competitive and active boxer. So prior to the Jake Paul fight, we were coming off of the heels of Gervonta Davis in a draw. Sorry. And we thought that this summer we would be getting something that we all were clamoring for. Because to be honest, after the Frank Martin fight, which was Gervonta's comeback fight after being incarcerated, we thought that majority of the people, now I'm gonna let you guys know, you guys are gonna say that I'm crazy, but I actually had Tank winning by 2 rounds. If we don't count the knockdown, right? He didn't get hit, took a knee, whatever. He should have been deducted points, I agree, but I still had Tank winning by 2 rounds, right? So we were all excited to, or we all were intrigued. I wouldn't say excited to see Tank versus Lamont Roach for a second time. Now the bag was already set up with the Jake Paul fight, and we weren't too sure if Tank and Lamont we would ever see that fight again. Now we are gonna see Tank versus Pitbull. We thought we were gonna see Tank versus Lamont. Maybe I don't have Pitbull losing to Lamont, but that's just me. So I didn't think we were ever gonna see this fight again. Could this fight be made? This was also a fight that people were very interested in prior to the Ryan Garcia fight 2 years ago, Tank versus Devin. I don't think that that fight will ever be made. I never thought it was ever going to be made, just because things like ego were going to get in the way of it. And also, when I say ego, it's not just ego between the two fighters, but management teams, who gets what split. There also is no TV networks involved. At the time, we did have TV networks involved, and there was a bigger budget. Um, and it would take maybe a Turkey Al-Sheikh bringing it to Saudi Arabia. Tank is not going to fight there, so this fight is off the table, right? A fight that could be off the table. I couldn't find a graphic. No disrespect to Shakur Stevenson, but obviously this would be the best option for Gervonta Tank Davis at this moment. It would be a fight with Shakur Stevenson. The question that I have is, after this, what's the biggest payday for Gervonta Davis? Because he made it known in that interview that what he's after is securing the biggest purse, the biggest bag that's gonna get him in the ring. For you guys that don't know, the two fights that I posted prior at the beginning of the video, with Frank Martin and with Lamont Roach, Gervonta Davis took a significant pay cut to what he made with the Ryan Garcia fight. Now these boxers, they are at an unrealistic level right now, and there was a high inflation due to boxing being hot, and this is coming off the tails of Mayweather making all this money. And box was in a place where the fighters could get reinvested into by the promoters and they could make a certain amount of money. Now we're not at that point. So when a guy like a Gervonta Davis wants a 30 million, when a guy like a Errol Spence wants this type of money that he made with Crawford, when Deontay Wilder wants the Fury bag, no one wants to take a step back. And I don't blame anybody, because they're at a point where everybody got bills and everybody has a life to pay. No one could really afford to miss out on the lifestyle that they've already built. Nobody wants to take 2 steps back to take 30 steps forward, right? So we have to really think. And my honest assessment is this could really be the last chapter for Gervonta Davis. I'm just basing it off of body language, how he's talked on Twitter, what he said in that interview with Jay Hill, where what he said when the fight was announced with Jake Paul. He really didn't care about what us, the fans, were thinking. So, and with all the backlash that he's gotten after this whole scandal came out, would it be safe to put Gervonta Davis on a card to sell to you guys for pay-per-view? Would you be interested in seeing Tank fight somebody that isn't a Devin Haney, a Shakur Stevenson, a Teofimo Lopez? We don't know what's next for Tank. Let me know what you guys think. Me personally, I honestly think he's gonna bow out and he really don't care to box no more. Remember, like, subscribe, share, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. We building from the ground up, baby.